That previous one then speaks to the idea of we all are where we are. We're all at where we're at. And we all need to start where we're at. And this is why there's a teacher for everybody. In that there's always somebody ahead of us. And there's somebody behind us, always. And that's a beautiful thing for our own need to serve and help. And essentially serving and help meaning wake each other up to the reality that we're all one and we're all love. And we have to remember that, and we have to sometimes slowly wake up, and other times we'll leap ahead into a jolt awake, and it just depends on where you're at, what layer, what level, what vibration. And so this is why there's teachers at every level. So taking that previous example, they were showing this is why, like somebody like her, who is so stuck and stubborn in unforgiveness and believing everybody has the right to stay in that stuck, stubborn, she almost like encourages it, and she calls people victims, of which I believe there are none. She disempowers them. And I don't think she sees it that way. I really don't. I really think she's a lovely person. But because that's where she's stuck on that line of thinking for that area of her life, it keeps her stuck and stagnant in that vibration. And we all have this. I'm using this as an example, but I'm well aware I have my own stuff. And any of us who don't think we do, that's where we're stuck, right? Anyway, they were showing this as part of why, I don't know if I said that yet or can explain this clear enough about, like that's why I could, somebody could listen to the last few, and as soon as they hear me say a few of those things, like none of us are victims and I want to empower you, they could tune me right out because they are so certain that they're a victim, and they want that justification and excuse of not taking ownership or responsibility for their portion, that they don't want to hear it. It's like as soon as they hear a portion of that, they shut it down, right? Like their mind's like, their ego is like, abso-fucking-lutely not. Right? We were hurt and we will not be hurt again. And I will protect myself. And that means doing X, Y, and Z, being stubborn, refusing to hear anymore, not listening. And that, in a simpler term, is like they're not ready to wake up. And this is why you have to have compassion for them. They're doing what they're doing out of hurt, out of pain, out of their soreness, out of their swelling. Not because they're an asshole who's stubborn and stuck. Just the opposite. Right? They were hurt, they were in pain, and so they're reacting from that place versus taking ownership and cleaning and clearing that up and being able to respond. What you hear people say triggered. They're triggered there. So it triggers their soreness. It jackhammers open their wound. It brings awareness that it's still sore, it's still hurt, it's still an issue. And so we can look at that as a good thing. Like, oh, okay. For everybody's sake, right? Like, in other words, for their sake, if they're willing and ready and able, they can be like, oh shit, I am getting triggered there. Why am I getting triggered there? Let's take a look, right? And, or not. And it can also be beneficial for those who are awakened and see that they are triggered. Oh, there's a soreness there. There's a hurt there. There's a pain there. I don't need to take anything they're saying personally from here on out. That is a big thing. If and ready, willing, if they want to talk about it, we can. Otherwise, back away slowly, right? It's like recognizing, oh, they're not there yet. They're not awakened there yet. They haven't loved themselves there yet. They haven't healed that part of themselves yet. They haven't remembered that it's okay, they're whole, they're good. They haven't forgiven themselves, which means they haven't forgiven the other. They're still living in victimhood and all of that. And so it's back to, it's nobody's wrong or right. It's more like just where they're at in their journey. And we can recognize and see it more clearly when we heal and love ourselves so that we stop being triggered. And then when we stop being triggered to every fucking little thing, then we can recognize how to navigate easier outside ourselves with all those who have not awoken yet and are still being triggered, and stop getting re-triggered when they get triggered, and the sling in the mud, so to speak, we can keep our nervous system calmer, right? More aware, more present, more awake, and remain awake. And when we're awake, we also want to, it's like work on what you can when you are awake, right? So that you're further along. So when you do bump your head again, right? When there's a new scar that arises, or a new pain, or a new wound, or an old one, you've done that kind of work so that it doesn't last as long. You heal quicker, so to speak. Hopefully that made sense. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.